What's going on, guys? It is a Saturday morning. Super cold here in Sydney once again. It's Will from Will's Navigating Life. We have a long day ahead of us today. Have that Porsche Cayenne sitting outside. That car spent all night on it last night. Super awesome paint. Did a coating correction plus interior, took me about 10-12 hours. Come in tomorrow Saturday morning to drop off the vehicle. The vehicle's in my shop, man. The customer's picking up the vehicle this morning, and then we're gonna head over to my mate's shop, and then we're gonna spend the weekend working on that Mercedes, 1980s Mercedes. I'm gonna take you guys with me. Should be a fun day. Now we have our set of hex lights that's arrived from overseas, and we're gonna get these installed, so it will add a very nice aesthetic feel to the shop, which much needed. Now from this title, you'll probably it'll read something along the lines of why I dropped out of uni to start my business. And the thing is, a lot of the times when you're studying in uni, you're not there because you want to study this subject. Don't get me wrong, uni does have its perks. If you want to be a lawyer, a doctor, engineer, uni is definitely the path you have to go through. It's not an option, it's the must. I was studying a medical science degree for about 3 years, and I did not want to be a doctor. The next best thing was you'd be a researcher, be a dentist, do something, right? I didn't want to do none of that. I simply chose that degree because it was offered. Initially, when I first entered uni, it was actually to Western Sydney Uni doing a policing degree. I wanted to be a cop out of high school. I was about 2 to 3 weeks into that degree. UTS sent me the offer for medical science, and I took it because it was offered, not because I wanted to study medicine or go down that pathway. So something very unexpectedly happened when I was in my third year of uni. My best friend, Simon, at that time, he passed away suddenly from leukemia. He actually beat cancer once, and then it came back, and he didn't make it through the second time. So after Simon passed, I really went through this phase of what am I doing with my life? If I only have certain amount of time left, what exactly am I doing? And so I came to this realization that if I don't know what I'm doing, why am I still at uni? Now, the very next day, I sent an email to UTS to drop out the next night. They gave me a call. They said, why are you looking to drop out? Is there a reason? Blah, blah, blah. And I simply told them I don't want to study this degree. So just like that, I did almost 3 years of uni, and I left overnight. I didn't think too much of it. I know probably a lot of people have told me I should have finished my degree, but to me, it was something I really saw no future for myself to do. Now, after I dropped out of uni, I thought about two things. What do I want to do? and what can I do? So at that time, I wanted to work on cars. That was the next best thing I wanted to do. And to work on cars, it was either mechanically or aesthetically. I went for the mechanically route initially because I wanted to hopefully one day open up my own shop. My story at this dealership that I worked at was probably one of the most reality checks that I have ever had in my life. This isn't. I'm sure this isn't for every dealership experience out there. Man, I'm sure people had great experiences working at dealership. The first thing I noticed when I started to work there as an apprentice was that everything was dictated by a school bell. We'd clock in at about 8 a.m. in the morning, school bell rings. About 10 to 10:15, smoko we call it, basically a short 15-minute break, lunch bell rings. Lunch bell rings and it tells you when to come back to work. Lunchtime 12:30 to 1, lunch bell rings again, tells you when to come back to work. And then at 4 p.m., lunch bell rings. The literal lunch bell you hear, or recess bell you hear at high school, that literally the same bell dictates when you do this and that. After a couple months there, like it really like did my head in. It's like, oh fuck, the bell rings. Oh, gotta do this, gotta do that. Oh, the bell rang. It's time to start work again. And if that was like not the worst, like, oh my god, I swear that gave me like straight PTSD. Okay, no one should have to experience a high school lunch bell. If you're in Australia, Sydney or wherever in Australia, you'll know what that bell sounds like. I'm sure those are the same bells they use overseas, but it is absolutely horrible. Now imagine going into adulthood and hearing that bell telling like the same exact way. And it's just sad. It's sad, really. I did not enjoy like that part of the job at all. It did teach me a lot of things about, mechanically, obviously, my passion to work on cars was really there. I wasn't there for the money. It was really almost depressing to work in an environment like that. And everyone is just kind of following each other, and this whole situation of the bell telling you what to do, the hierarchy system of the foreman telling you what to do has to be done by this time and when, and it's basically you're trapped in that system where you're just another number in a cog that has to rotate constantly. And I do understand that from a business perspective. It was almost too robotic, right? And that's what I hated. When I take on projects and the boys come to work in this shop, in my shop, I always try to make it so that these are projects that people can work according to their own time and schedule, and you get rewarded based off that. It is a hard system to implement, but like that's my ideal shop. Not clock in, clock off, you're a number on a screen, you get told when to take a break by a school bell. Like that to me is straight depressing. So after about almost a year doing my apprenticeship, I left. It was becoming way too draining and way too sad to work there, and I left. The thing is, a lot of them has said the same thing, is why are you in this trade? Get out of this trade. Leave when you can. I never understood it until I was there for a while, because at some point that passion has to be in the same level as reality. You can't always chase a dream or chase a goal based on passion. There has to be a why, really, not just because I love working on cars. There had to be a deeper reason for me to stay, and it wasn't there for mechanics. I left that job shortly after, and about 2 to 3 months I was job hopping, doing this and that, and I actually landed a full-time job in a corporate office, which was not any better. It was okay experience-wise, but I left that job within a couple months and I started my own business. I told myself I was not going to be in this system and just work for someone else, and I wanted to run my own show, dictate what jobs I do and when I do them. I've never felt such freedom and a want to go to work until it was for myself. Now I'd come here whenever in the morning, as early as I need to, and I stay as late till I need to. I would never, no one would do this if it was for someone else at a full-time in an office or, at the shop, mechanics, unless, you had your own say. And so after a very long journey of completing nothing, I finished my HSC, I dropped out of uni, I dropped out of TAFE apprenticeship, left corporate full-time job. I am the definition of unqualified. And I decided to start a detailing styling shop, and now we have moved into a shop that we're building out. So it really at the end of the day, what I've learned is that, like, don't take everything too seriously, right? Whether or not you want to succeed climbing a corporate ladder, whether or not you find yourself lost in uni or just doing a degree just for the sake of it. I understand that. I've been there and I've never been happy. There's a bunch of us out there where we just feel like we don't belong in any of these groups where people just live by and enjoy the day-to-day. To me, it felt like I was wasting away. So this is me now, in a chaotic shop, by myself, figuring out what to do to keep the bills paid and to keep creating content and to do this and that side quests. And really, that's my story. Thank you guys for all that have stayed till the end of the video and that has watched my long rant. My journey growing up. Now, if you've somewhat enjoyed my content and want to support my journeys, please leave a like, a comment in the description, and a subscribe would be absolutely amazing. See you guys in the next video. Peace!